Welcome to the Upside Down, because here Ohio State's run game is dominant. The special teams looks amazing with block punts and kickoff returns. And the biggest question mark is the Buckeye receivers. I don't know how we got here, but this is where we are after a dominant win over UCLA.
Yeah, it's kind of insane when you say it out loud, because this was an Ohio State offense who had more rushing yards than passing yards, 222 rushing yards. And not only did Bo Jackson find the end zone, Isaiah West found the end zone, and James Peoples, with the hurdle herd around the world, finds the end zone twice. C.J. Donaldson did not play in this one. He was dealing with a little injury, but like we have said, and you will hear, Ryan Day said it's not going to be a major issue, but it's kind of insane when three of those guys found the end zone.
It's truly amazing. The biggest thing Buckeye fans are going to be waking up on Sunday morning and Monday morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way until Rutgers, maybe all the way until that game up in Ann Arbor. They want to know the health of this receiver room.
Right.
And we know Carnell Tate did not play. That's the second straight game. We've heard Ryan Day say it's precautionary. We heard Ryan Day say that it is not long-term. But it's also hard to ignore what we saw with Jeremiah out there. Playing those first two drives, he looked not fully healthy. An 80% Jeremiah, still 100% better than everyone else in the country. But you have to worry with the way he was walking.
Right.
Now, maybe it is. He just kind of, something lingering and tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's concerning. And I, for one, I'm saying it right now, I do not need to see Jeremiah Smith again until they are up in Michigan.
I completely
don't think
agree.
That's needed.
Honestly, I don't think we need to see Jeremiah or Carnell.
Or C.J. Donaldson.
I mean, honestly, truly, you don't need to risk injuring something more against a Rutgers team when you've got that team up north waiting just 13 days away. It's not worth it. And like you said, Adam, it is concerning when you see not only your star receiver, but the best player on your team limping off the field at halftime, visibly in pain. It is concerning.
I think we have been a little, lucky this year in covering the Buckeyes and not talking about injuries. They haven't really been bit by that bug. We even saw Julian Sayin kind of roll his ankle. He was okay. So there are a lot of question marks right now with the health of this team. That certainly makes that bye week, those 3 weeks off, if you get that one seed, that much more important. That seems to be the biggest question from the game.
Right.
The biggest answer, though, I want to go back to the run game, and I want to go back to Bo Jackson, Isaiah West, and James Peoples. And when we look at James Peoples, there are a lot of people that have been a little bit questioning what his role is in this offense. We thought he was RB1 when this all started. Remember, it was Sonic and Knuckles with C.J. Donaldson and James Peoples, and then Bo Jackson came onto the scene, and he kind of stole the show, and Isaiah West has now. I am happy to see James Peoples get in the game and make a major impact, because Ohio State's going to need him on this run.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that you have four running backs who are stars out there, and any given night it can be their night, is a huge plus for this Ohio State offense. You look at a guy like James Peoples. He was up against playing with guys like Trey Henderson and Quinshon Judkins last season. He learned a lot from those guys, obviously. But we all kind of thought, all right, this year's going to be his moment. And like you said, he was an RB1, and he kind of maybe got put back in the shadows a little bit because a guy like C.J. Donaldson came in, who, as I've said, is the red zone running back. If you want him to score in the red zone, give it to C.J.
I believe you called him red zone reliable running back.
Red zone, that's right. You remember.
Yeah, I have a great memory.
Yeah, red zone reliable running back. That's my name for C.J. because it's true. And then you've got Bo Jackson, who the yards after, his ability to just shove defenders himself, move them himself, we saw that. But, and I turn to you in this moment, when James Peoples had his first touchdown, obviously the hurdle was incredible, but then he gets his second score. It's like, it's kind of the outing that I've personally been waiting for from him.
It's everything that he's needed for confidence-wise. There, you see him post-game, and he's celebrating with his teammates, and you can just tell this is just as much as the fans wanted to see it from him.
Yeah.
CJ wanted to see it from himself. James Peoples did, wanted to see it from himself. And so that can be so big for the Buckeyes moving forward. We always hear Ryan Day say, we're going to need them all. And while that can seem kind of silly in a 16-game season, it's
true.
As many reps as they can take off of Bo Jackson, off of C.J. Donaldson, off of Isaiah West, as long as you could spread it around and be confident that the guy on the field is going to find the end zone, that's a major factor.
Well, I want to add on that, too. You say Isaiah West. I feel like Isaiah West was kind of a late addition where he kind of had his coming out party. But look at where, I remember the first game we had talked about, I can't remember the exact game it was, but when he kind of had his coming out party, we all kind of, our eyes went to Isaiah West.
I think it was the Wisconsin
Was it
game.
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin is where he really got in and he made a lot of big plays. He started to move defenders. And when you see a young guy start moving defenders.
He's not a freshman anymore. I mean, he is, but he's not playing like one. And I love to see him kind of progress every single Saturday, and seeing him find the end zone tonight, like I said, I mean, you've got 4 guys. They're bully of backs, all of them.
All right, I want to shift to the pass game, and I want to make a statement here tonight.
Here we go.
I'm tired of the Heisman talk for right now.
Okay.
I think the Heisman talk is overshadowing a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And it's obnoxious at this point that every 3 minutes, every pass has to be hyperanalyzed in comparison to where does Julian Sayin rank with Mendoza versus Ty Simpson, who just
Marcel
lost.
Reed.
Oh, yes. Marcel Reed leading his team back from, 27 down. You've got to lose to be better. It doesn't make any sense. So, first of all, the Heisman Trophy is going to be handed out to whoever looks the best in Indianapolis when Ohio State and Indiana play for the Big Ten Championship. For Julian Sayin, I don't think he hears any of the noise. I don't think he cares. But I do think that it's really, really hard to be judged on a scale of the Heisman when you're trying to learn. This guy just wrapped up his 10th
He's
career.
a rookie.
It's his 10th game, Nicole.
Yeah.
And every play, we are hyper-analyzing because, well, Mendoza did this. Well, Ty Simpson did this. I thought today was one of his biggest tests. He did not have a top 5 wide receiver in Carnell Tate. He did not have Jeremiah Smith. I thought that he looked really good at times. I thought he made some throws he'd like back. That's a good thing. That's what you want from a young guy. We've almost, because of the Heisman talk, removed his ability to make mistakes because every single stat matters, not about the game, but about an award.
Right. Well, I mean, when you have a quarterback who leads the country in completion percentage, of course, all eyes are going to be on he's perfect. He doesn't make mistakes. But I will say, somebody asked Coach Day and Julian after in the press conference, and they said, Julian, was it hard not having Jeremiah and Carnell out there? And he said, of course it's hard. Those guys are incredible teammates to play with, and they make his job a whole lot easier. But he said, but I learned so much getting to play with some of the younger guys.
100%.
And he said, I love seeing the younger guys get the reps out there. Bryson Rogers finding the end zone. I mean, that's what you want to see down the stretch, because you never know what's going to happen in the game of football. And like you said, when you've got Carnell and Jeremiah Smith dealing with stuff, it's next man up mentality, and it should give Julian a lot of confidence that the younger guys down the list are just as capable.
I also want to say that Ohio State looked fantastic on the offensive line today.
Yes.
Julian had a lot of time. That pass to Bryson Rogers is what reminded me. He stood back there forever.
He was chilling back there.
And that allowed him to find Rogers on that 4th down. I'm with you, and it's okay to admit that you're not as good without Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith. That shouldn't be a negative thing. And somehow we have made it this massive thing. Well, he has 2 amazing receivers. Yeah, it's really hard to be a dominant quarterback if your receivers aren't also dominant receivers. He's at a Heisman level for a reason. Right now, I think Ohio State, and not inside the Woody, but on a macroscopic level, when people look at the Buckeyes, they want to talk about Michigan. They want to talk about the Heisman. We've got to get back to a point where we remember with this team, they still have a game against Rutgers.
Yep.
And while it feels like that game is a weird, in-between, they can use that to continue to grow. They can use that to continue to get healthy. I'm fine with load management. If you don't want to play the guys that are, even if it's just a little thing, if they're, I don't know, coach, don't play them.
No, yeah.
But this idea that everything has to be so now.
Yes.
The playoff is still a month away. The national championship is still 2 months away. We've lost sight of the road with this team, and I think the road is what has allowed a lot of Buckeye teams in the past, like last year, to win a national title. Let's let Julian play through the kinks. Let's let the running backs play through the kinks. This offensive line is starting to show. This defense, we haven't talked about the defense because they're just so good.
All I have to say is let King Julian be King Julian and play ball and ball out. And you know what? Here's the deal.
Do you do a good King Julian impression?
King Julian.
Okay.
King Julian.
That's really good. That's
Is that
very
good?
I didn't know that you could do that. So put you on the spot.
I love that
Continue.
movie. It's a great movie. Anyways, all I have to say is you say that, yes, the outside noise, whether it's media, fans, whoever it is, but the most important thing is that this Buckeye team is not listening to any of that. Coach Day is not listening to any of that, and I think it all stems from head coach Ryan Day. He's the one preaching to his guys that they have one goal. The awards don't matter. We have asked Jeremiah, we've asked Julian multiple times, who's going to win the Heisman? Well, they say each other, but they also say awards don't matter on this team. It's a team sport. It's not an individual sport. So yes, there's all this talk of Heisman and stacking up your Heisman campaign and your Heisman numbers and all this stuff, but these guys don't care about that. They care about achieving their goals, staying undefeated, winning a Big Ten title, and going back-to-back for the first time in Buckeye history.
I think you're exactly right. We didn't touch on the defense, and I don't know how to properly say this. Ohio State's defense is the best in the country.
Yep.
We all know that. UCLA's offense is not the best offense in the country. They didn't have Nico Iamaleava. It almost felt like when the defense was out there today, it was kind of hard to break down anything because they're just that much better than UCLA's offense is. So, yeah, my biggest takeaway on the defensive side is they continue to be great. One last thing here. Have you heard the argument that Ohio State's not good because they haven't been challenged?
Yes, all the time.
That is the stupidest argument
Garbage.
I have ever heard. And we'll get into that. We have all week to talk about that. But I heard it for the first time yesterday.
That was the first time you heard it?
Yeah, well, like to the extent that it was said. And I thought, boy, that is certainly a take.
Yeah.
That is certainly a thought. All right. You have any lasting thought?
All I was going to say
to tell the people on a Sunday morning?
Yeah, I'll tell you guys. All I was going to say on that last thought is that somebody had asked Coach Day if he was annoyed or kind of upset that Nico wasn't able to play because it wasn't able to kind of test his defense a little bit.
That somebody was Austin Ward.
Oh, it was Austin Ward.
97-1
Shout
the fan,
out Austin.
10
Great
TV
question.
plus.
Great question. But it's a great question because, yeah, you want your defense to be tested. And, Adam, I think you hit it on the head that the defense was just doing what the defense does every Saturday. They're number one in the country for a reason. What, they held UCLA to, I think, 200 total yards of offense?
That's not even the top offense. That's the second string guys.
Exactly. So they're just balling like they always do. But I agree with you. That thought of, oh, they haven't been tested. They don't, hogwash.
I just want to say, if you're watching this video and you've made it this far, please let the quote be, they're just balling.
They're just balling.
They always do. One more with the King Julian.
King Julian.
That's pretty impressive.
King Julian. I wish I had. Have you seen Madagascar?
Yes, of course I've seen Madagascar. I've amazing taste.
I have wanted to Photoshop Julian Sayin's face on the King Julian. I think it's already been done, but I thought of it first.
Right after this video.
Okay.
And everybody can go to your Twitter and see it. She is Nicole Sharon. I'm Adam King. Keep it on 97.1 The Fan, 10 TV, 10 TV Plus for all your Buckeye coverage needs.